Morena tātou, nau mai piki mai ki tēnei o ngā kouwhau tuatahi o te rā. Yeah, awesome. Welcome back to Utility-Based Futures. Yeah, it's me and the man Naianga Tapiata here. We are so excited to have you join us. I'm going to kick us off with a little karakia, just to, settle us in, and then I'll introduce who I am. We'll go through some code. We'll get the house in order, and then I'm going to pass it over to Naianga, and we will start to have our kōrero. Ka pai? Nā reira, e te atua tēnei mātou e koropiko nei mui a koe tēnei o ngā ata. Ho mai kia mātou te waiora, te māramatanga, te kaha, kia whai te huarahi tika i roto i te whakaaro nui, me te aroha tētehi ki tētehi. Ko koe tō mātou, kai whakaora, ake, āmine. Āmine. Kia ora everybody, I'm Alex Barnes. I'm not really a rangatahi. Look, but I'm here because I'm excited about working and talking with this guy, Naianga Tapiata, about ana mahi i roto i ngā whare wānanga, tōna whakatupuranga, me tōna paitawhiti. Hara ko ia nake, engari ko tōna whānau. Nā reira, e mihi ana kia koutou katoa. I am supposed to be reading some things about the community code. I can't see that right now, but maybe it's coming up. We got people in the background there, Huama. This is not just me and Naianga. We got like people in Phoenix, people in Pittsburgh, people in Aotearoa. So, I'm just wondering where the community code is. Thanks, Paige. I'm trying here. I'm trying. That shows my age. Damn native 94. Our community code, here we go. So, this is basically our kawa. This is how we would like to roll as part of this whole extravaganza. So have a read of that. I can't quite see it that clearly, but that's okay. If you have any questions, or basically if anyone is an egg, there's a little report button you can press and you can report them and we'll take some action. Yeah, we haven't had any issues so far, so keep rolling. Community code, that's all good. Accessibility is really important. We got live captioners. Kia mōhio mai ka reo rua tēnei, ka reo Pākehā, ka reo Māori, ka whai I te ia o te kōrero. But we will have live captions, view transcripts, and so that's for anybody that needs to see those to help participate. So yeah, thank you so much to our captioners and all of that. I want to acknowledge everybody. So I think that's us. Naianga. Tēnā koe. Tēnā koe, Naianga. Thanks for joining us. Yeah. He mea nui tēnei ki te noho ngātahi, ki tō taha, giving the people what they need. So Naianga, kea koe te wā. Ko wai koe. Ai, e rā kōrero katoa e hoa.
Tēnā koe morena, bro. O te rā morena kia tātou. Ko Naianga Tapiata tōku ingoa. No e gite au te tehi, I just saw someone put up that they're from Muri Whenua. Te pito te ao, engari. Ko takupito te ao, ko rotorua, no reira no te arawa, me ngā te wharau ahau. So kia ora everybody, my name's Nanga and I'm from Te Arawa and Ngāti Parau and grew up in Rotorua in my pito te ao.
Ka pai. Me whai tērā ia. We got some te tai tokeros, Muri Whenua, te mea. Hoi anō, tukuna, I ngā kōrero no tō takiwa, wa ko wai koe, ko no whia koe, pe pērā. Feel free to just write where you're coming in from. And and if you've got any questions as well for this discussion, please use the Q&A function on the Zoom. So, let's get into this, e hoa. I first came across your work, when was that? Late last year. It was on the Māori media platform, Whakata Māori. And I saw that you, had come through kōhanga reo, kura kaupapa, era whare kōrero, and I nāia nei kei te whai koe tō ara ki aira ki Aotearoa nei engari ki tā wāhi anō hoki. So I te whakaaro me hoki ki tō tupuranga. What was it that inspired you, your whānau, to one, start here in Aotearoa through the kaupapa Māori movement and now pivot, as they say, ki tā wāhi, ki te ao whānui. So can you just share a bit about that background there, hoa?
Yeah. I might start with my grandparents, my koro and my nan. They had a vision about 7 years ago, just before they started to have kids. They weren't the richest of families by any doubt, but what they had was faith and belief in our people, um, and the way that we could carry the future of Aotearoa and our offerings to the world. And they had two things that they envisioned for their own kids. One was faith in God, and two was education. I'm not sure how the first one went, but the second one went pretty good. And that vision that they had for their own kids followed into our generation, the mokopuna, where we were lucky enough through different means to attend kōhanga reo and kura kaupapa Māori. So from my grandparents down to my parents, they were on their big OE, living in London at the time, traveling around Europe, where they saw European kids conversing in both English and their own language, whether it was French, German, te aha te aha. And they thought that was in the 80s, where Te Reo Māori was only just beginning its revitalization journey. And they thought for their own kids, we should raise our own kids in their language as well. And so they moved back home, and not long after my older brother was born. And there's a 15-year age gap between me and my older brother. But at that time, Te Reo Māori wasn't as accessible as it is now. But that was the inspiration, was the traveling throughout Europe. And they sent us to kōhanga reo and kura kaupapa Māori. And even to this day, me and my siblings only speak in Te Reo Māori to each other. Very, very few English words will come between our mouths, usually when we're arguing. But yeah, that's sort of the basis of our experiences. And I think experiences is probably one of the biggest things that we were lucky enough growing up.
Tēnā koe i rā kōrero e hoa. It's kind of weird, when you hear people switch language for the first time. So when I went to kura ki tauranga moana, te wā tuatahi I rangona ai e au i te reo Pākehā mai te waha o tētahi oku kaiako. Me te whakaro, tino rere kē tērā tangi? It's kind of out of it, when you start. Anyway, I'd love to be in the room when you and your bros are arguing. So am I right? You're the Pōtiki? You're the youngest?
Yeah. Pōtiki of three. So it goes my brother, who's 15 years older than me, and my sister, who's 11 and a half older than
Okay.
me.
So, ko tērā tō pāharekeke e whai ana i te ao mā tauranga me te whakapono. Arā, ko te reo Māori me ngā tikanga Māori tērā. And so you had that grounding. And then you went overseas. You spent a few years overseas. Can you tell more about that and just the impact of that? It sounds like it was quite an important point in you kind of taking your own path. Can you share a bit about that haerenga ki tā wāhi?
Yeah. So as we've spoken about, I tupu mai I te kōhanga reo I te kura kaupapa Māori, where probably the biggest kura kaupapa Māori was maybe 200 students. But when I was 11, my parents decided that they wanted to move back overseas to travel a little bit more. So we moved to a country called Kuwait, where I didn't even know where that was. Never heard of the country growing up. And I remember one of my mates that I met over there, he thought that it was a cafe when he first found out he was moving there. So that was kind of the te iho of te kōrero I taua wā. But yeah, we moved to Kuwait in the Middle East when I was 11, and we spent 3 years there. And the experiences that we experienced over there was transformed, I think, my perspective on life. Because growing up in Te Reo Māori and kura kaupapa Māori of a kura of maybe 150 at the time, to then move to a American international school of 3,000 students right through. So that in itself, a small change shifted, I think, the way I looked upon the world, but a culture shift, living in a Muslim country, what that looked like, what that felt like, living across from a mosque, being our alarm clock in the morning, those sort of experiences that I can't list all of them, But the experiences of living over there and how that started to shape the way I saw the world when I moved back to Aotearoa when I was 14. But yeah, that sort of those experiences, and I think the main one over there was probably the loss of culture over there because there were so few Māori. Not speaking to Reo Māori every day at school because I wasn't at a kura. The only place was at home, but you only had a few hours at home. So those sort of experiences and how that started to shape my identity as a young Māori boy living over there, but moving back here to Aotearoa to regain what was lost, but with a new set of eyes on how that looked for the next few years.
That's fascinating. I just want to, we don't have to spend too much time on this, but like, how did your parents prep you for that? And how did they support you? Like, were they like, hey, we're just going to Kuwait, and then you find yourself there? By the way, I just want to acknowledge those, all that era, iwi ke reira,
Mm.
and the war going on,
Ora.
the suffering happening. And I hope your people over there, if you still got people over there, that they're safe. But how did your parents like prepare you for that culture shock?
Yeah, I think one there were a few ways. I actually hated it when I first moved there. Like I
Yeah,
don't use
no
the word
doubt.
hate very lightly, but yeah, I just could not stand. Had no friends. No sports. Sports wasn't happening straight away when we first moved over there, so there was no sense of community. So yeah, I just wanted to move back home. I remember it was almost like every day I'd come back, nah, catch piringa to kōhanga.
Mm.
Um, but the way wasn't, I think the way my parents, my grandparents, and our whānau, the way that we have raised our own whānau was through perseverance and not just letting what the kids do what they want to do. And so before the prep, there were a lot of ways. We had a surprise farewell get together, which was cool to see all the whānau and um, being grounded in the support of our whānau, our hapu and iwi, and our kura that helped to keep us grounded while we were over there. I had maybe monthly chickens with my kura while I was living over there, which was cool. Laying down all the tea to all my Māori mates from over there, and yeah, so there were those sort of things of how do you be connected or keep being connected to a place, although you might not be there ātinana. Engari kia hono hono tonu ki te wākanga i a koe i Tāwāhi.
Ā tāhua, nā reira, aha koe haere ana koe kiwhea, kei te mōhio kē koe o anei, ko tēnei a haume oku tōku tira haere. It's like you've always got a solid grounding, even though you were on the other side of the world. So there was quite a process, an intentional process from your parents, it sounds like. That's awesome. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to pick up on some of your whakapapa e hoa, because, in preparing for today, and this is coming up, you're also a descendant of Makariti,
Mm.
or Makariti, I should say. Would you mind just sharing a little bit about her and then how your narrative comes in and intertwines with your tupuna kuia and what you're doing now? Would you
Yeah.
talk about your whānau and your karaua kuia, engari me hoki anō ki aia pēr, ara, ka whai iho i ngā kōrero.
Mm. Yeah, kia ora, i tēnā pata. I'm not a direct descendant of Makariti or Maggie Papakura. Hoi anō ko tō maua marae, ko tō maua o maua hapu o maua iwi. Maggie Papakura, but almost 100 years ago, 99 years ago, enrolled into the University of Oxford. She was already living in England, married rich Pākehā husband over there and help to support and nurture wounded soldiers during the First World War while she was living over there. Engari, um, I believe that what made her famous before moving to England was her aura, um, as the young people would like to say now,
Woo!
in our village of Whakarewarewa. where she took and guided distinguished guests from the royal family, locals, where she became renowned for tour guiding in our village of Whakareorewa. Um, we believe that that's where the origin of tourism came from, was from when our people we were living at Tarawera, at Lake Tarawera before the 1886 eruption. We're commemorating the 140th of the Tarawera eruption this year. But that's where the tourism industry here in Aotearoa started, and where the cloak that Maggie Papakura was weaved by started from there. But yeah, she moved over to England, and she became the first Indigenous woman officially last September to be the first Indigenous woman to enroll at the University of Oxford.
Wow. Wow. Hey, can we just give some time to that. I mean, that's an amazing inheritance, an amazing story. So did you grow up knowing this stuff, or is it later in life that you kind of went, whoa, like has that? I'm assuming that was the case, because Te Arawa. Hey, oh, actually, I won't say anything, but I'll let you speak. But did you grow up with that sense of history?
Mm. Yeah, outside our village, we have photos of well-renowned tour guides from our village, and one of them is Makareti. And even though I'm not sure about how others from home feel or think about it, but definitely growing up and seeing not just her photo, but her sister and her uru that she helped to nurture, seeing all of them as a whole helped to shape our own perspective, and always gave us hope. I think was the main contribution that those photos alone outside our village had, was this is possible. It's been done before. And it definitely helped in my own journey, where being the first, as Makariti once did, that's hard. That's probably the hardest, becoming the first, the weight of the world on your shoulders, although she probably didn't feel it as she matriculated at Oxford. But yeah, carrying hope for our people that started 100 years ago. But I think the vision and the hope that she had for our people still yet to be realized. So yeah.
Yeah. Real talk, real talk. This is an awesome conversation there. I just want to, there are a couple of, or maybe there's one book, and I can't remember the author, but I'm wondering if our web team, the team behind us, could maybe put the link in to her. And also, when you mentioned she was acknowledged officially last year, there's some really cool clips about that process, and I know some of your koike and whānau went over there. Were you there as well? Did you go through
Yeah,
that?
yeah, we were lucky enough to go over, and yeah,
Oh,
the puka puka you mentioned, bro, the old time Māori, where it was the first ethnographic written piece by a Māori woman, I believe. But people like Linda Smith, Dr. Linda Tuiwai Smith, or the Māori academics that are now big names, their iho pumanawa was Maggie Papakura. So yeah.
yeah. Well, this is the old time Pākehā right here. But we love this. We love this, Ewa. So given that, you know, you're also in the bastion of colonialism, or the thinking, the architecture, or you use some type of word to describe the strategizing of colonialism, is in the center of empire, aka Oxford. So now you're there following in her footsteps. And what are you doing over there? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, probably it started in 2022, my first year here at the new Te Whare Wānanga Waikato, where someone by the name of Evie O'Brien, who is now the CEO of Te Wānanga Aotearoa, she was working over there for about 6 years, where she designed a kaupapa called Te Honangaki Oxford, where it was a chance for students interested in studying there to actually explore what it felt like to see with our own eyes what it's like over there. So about 10 rangatahi, along with about 40 or 30 total in our rōpū. We're lucky enough to head over there to Oxford to feel for ourselves what it's like being in the thick of the belly of where colonialism was designed. So that was sort of the inspiration in the first instance. I never saw myself growing up. Oxford was never even in a thought. Never a conversation with anyone.
Brother, ko wai.
Yeah.
Hoi anō. E heke ho tērā mana pēr.
Yeah.
Aua, hoi anō. Hoi anō.
But yeah, it was in 2022 on that kaupapa that helped shape the inspiration of Meg Papakura. And seeing where she once would have walked down the street, seeing where she once lived, where she's buried, because she's still buried over there. Her taonga, all her taonga are still over there because she donated all of them to the museum over there. So all these different dynamics that were at play, and just feeling her presence while we were over there was unreal. And seeing, I was thinking, man, it's so dedicated. Us almost 100 years ago, or years later, let alone her with, just the experiences that she would have had over there. Was sort of, that was sort of the catalyst, I suppose.
Yo, that aura you talked about, man, it's coming through. It's coming through. But I'm getting goosebumps as you're talking. I don't know about our fine people listening, watching. Te mea, te mea, te mea. We got a few chats. Just a reminder to the people. You got questions for our guy here? Feel free to put them in the Q&A or in the chat if you don't want to click that extra button and you just want to go straight in. Just go for that. So you said there were about, am I right in hearing, correct me my man, 30 of you that went over through this program that Evie O'Brien set up. And so are they all like continuing their study over there? And he Māori te katoa or what?
Reira, he Māori te katoa, mātou katoa I haere mai. There were about 10 participants and the rest were sort of funders or other people interested. But yeah, our rōpū, it's pretty, one of them actually just came back from Harvard in the last year. So yeah, where he studied under a guy named Professor Arthur Brooks. And he's one of the leading experts in happiness, where he's written a book with people like Oprah, been on a podcast with people like, so it's been awesome to see the journey of our rōpū.
And so that's kind of, you've got your kind of crew there, right? With them. So what are you studying? What's your, what kind of area are you focusing on?
Yeah, so I've just finished my Bachelor of Social Sciences with honours in Pacific and Indigenous Studies end of last year, and we'll be hopefully enrolling at an MPhil, Masters of Philosophy in Social Anthropology, which funnily enough happens to be the same degree that Meg Papakura was awarded in the last year.
Wow. There you go. We do have a question. But let's keep talking because that question, we thank you, anonymous attendee. We'll get to that question shortly. Royale, social anthropology. So I've got some notes here. Ngā mahi rangahau, your dissertation explores mōteatea as an expression of Māori well-being. How did you get into that? And how did you get into that? Firstly, let's just start there. I've got a few questions about that. But how did you, because like, how old are you, man? Just check.
21.
21. And you're going into mōteatea. And those who don't know, how tēnei mea te mōteatea?
Yeah, mōteatea is, it's kind of hard for me to translate because I don't really like translating mōteatea, but sort of Māori song, poetry, Māori chant, depending on who you talk to. E rā momo whakapākeatanga. But yeah, mōteatea growing up was a lived thing, and it still is at home at our kura and throughout all our marae. Mōteatea growing up was the vessel that I loved to learn from. whether it was through our connections with the North, with Te Arawa, whether it was events like when Hongi invaded Mokoia at home. So these vessels of knowledge that help to retain kōrero from our tupuna was my favorite way of learning growing up.
Wow. I can't remember who said this. It was quite recently. It might have been after, because let's face it, Te Arawa just had the your regionals. Are you part of a kapa?
Yeah, part of Te Wharehaka o Te Puku.
Yeah! Okay. So someone said this recently. It might have been, anyway, I'm not going to try and guess because I'll get in trouble. But they talked about how, i ngā kapa e whakarite ana, whakapakari ana, e haratau ana mō te tū, ka kaha tito i etihi waiata mō te rānei, e ko te wero, me mau i era, kia kaua e kaupare ake āmuri mai, me mau, me whiua ki te ao. So there's something about the amazing composition. I think this person was saying, I'm paraphrasing, that all this composition goes on and then nothing really happens with it. And so from what I can understand, you're kind of interested in how to populate or keep those mōtiatia going as an expression of well-being. Am I right on there, or am I totally like...
Yeah, pretty bang on, bro.
Okay. Woo.
So yeah, that was definitely I think it's an ongoing challenge in academia, where you have countless research pieces from Māori academics, but how do they find lived expression in our communities, which I think is a thing that academia here in Aotearoa is definitely trying to get better at, because it's definitely a thing that we could, that we need to work better at. But yeah, that's definitely a challenge for myself in my own rangahau of mō and its insights into well-being. But I think the sort of the crux of what I argued in my dissertation was that well-being for our tupuna was just lived every day. It wasn't confined into a framework, or they didn't know that you need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, da, 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 to be happy or to live a fulfilling life of service. They didn't know that it was just lived, it was natural. And so what I argued was that it was so natural that it was almost invisible for them, for their own well-being in that way, that it was invisible. That's sort of kōrero anyway.
Oh, so there's a fluency. It's so normal. It's so normalized,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's not like the ringawera are saying, I'm a ringawera, or,
Yeah.
well, maybe, but, people are just doing the do. And then the pointy heads, like us, or I'll put like me, and we try and describe it in this one framework from an academic perspective, which has some validity amongst that crew, but you try and tell the cats at the par what you're up to and make that real. That is the thing, right? To make it land on the ground. So, what are some of your ideas around there, man? Like, okay, you're only 21. Let's just calm down, everybody. But we're getting some questions coming through, and I'm going to get onto these. But like, what are your ideas about? You said things are getting easier from a rangahau Māori standpoint. What are your ideas about making the mōtiatia and ngā mahi ārehia in general? Yeah, making that kind of normal, or telling the story. What are your ideas?
Yeah, I think it's definitely mōtiatia. I think the beauty of the rangahau is that mōtiatia is already a living kaupapa within our people, whether it's through, and I think me mihi te kapahaka i tana pupuri te rā taonga, but also on our marae, where definitely at home, I know in another iwi they might like to do things differently. Engari, me mōtiatia i muri i ngā whai kōrero, especially in tangihanga. Hui ora a bit different, but definitely in tangihanga. And so how mōtiatia is lived every day, and the insights of it, I think, not just the insights of what the words mean, how the composer felt, but it's insights into the world our tupuna once lived, and how we can live aspects of that world today. And so one of the things I explored in a Motiatea that I was fortunate enough um, to dive into was the significance of the environment to the world we live in. And there's countless research papers on that already, but what I argued was that how the environment, how that shaped the way our tupuna felt and how that shaped their well-being. Whether it was through star navigation, ceremony, water, kōrero from Katerina Te Heiko Mataira, one of the founders of Te Ao Matua, Kura Kaupapa Māori, all the reo movements. Her word for the spiritual world or te ao wairua was te puna o te waiora. And so you take that word waiora and why, how it consists of why, and of course there's going to be a relationship between water and connecting with our tupuna. So that little thing alone and how we think about the world and how Motiatea is a vessel for consisting of all those different elements. But a main one was probably the state of awe, AWE. And there's I came across this research from this international, I forgot the actual name, International Space something, where they did a research on people that just went outside for 5 minutes or so every night to observe the night sky and how that decreased the levels of stress and had all these well-being factors. And when I saw that, I thought, wow, that's just what our tupuna did. It was natural for them. So that was just sort of one example of using Pākehā research to argue tupuna research, really.
Yeah, and you know what I've learned from different Māori thinkers, doers, is you know, wina kei te kōrero mo te kaupapa Māori, hei aha, ana, tika tau, kei a koutou, wā koutou ake nei whakaro mo te ao, mo te tai ao, and so you can just be valid in your own stories, depending on where you are and your people and your connection to the place. That's a beautiful thing. So many questions that I want to ask, but I think we'll forget me for a bit. Let's go to some of these questions. Here's one here. What? Thank you for sending them in, my people, our people, not my people, our people here. Really appreciate it. Naianga, are you ready?
Well, I don't know. Nah.
I don't know. What does tino rangatiratanga tia tō reo mean to you? What does tino rangatiratanga tia tō reo mean to you? Now, e ahu arere ke I te mea ko te reo Pākehā me te reo Māori kei roto I te rerenga kotahi. Hoi anō, kei a koe.
Yeah. Tuatahi me mihi, tō tātou ariki nui, especially as I love here in the Waikato, where she uttered that phrase at her first koro nei hana speech. And I really want to mihi to her as being a pou of hope, where I've seen and observed firsthand again the aura or the state that our kids go into when they see her presence, where they see her from a distance and they feel some type of way about it. It's just ātāhua to see that. Nō reira, tēnei ka mihi e te ariki. Tino rangatiratanga tia tō reo. Man, that's a tricky one. But I think, as I think about my parents and my grandparents and their own reo journeys and how that shaped our collective reo journey, I think it's, as we talk about tino rangatiratanga in the context of 2026, with the current geopolitical state of the world and everything going on at the moment, tino rangatiratanga tia tō reo, I would have to say would be that you don't have to wait or you don't have to be given permission from the government, but that we hold our own tino rangatiratanga as Māori, as our own iwi, to go out and pursue your own reo and to continue developing your own reo for those that are already speaking our reo, whether it's just conversating and making it normal, ko te kōrero o tō mātou tumuaki, ia mātou tupu ana, kōrero Māori, i ngā wā katoa ki ngā wāhi katoa. So I think that sort of whakaro would be how I'd answer that.
Kia ora, tēnā koe i era kōrero. It's interesting, eh? Like, I've got a little girl, and ko te reo matua ki te kāinga nei, ko te reo Māori. Bueno, Pākehā tūturu tēnei, engari I puta I te kōhanga me te kura kaupapa. Hoi anō, ko tāna reo whakahoki, ko te reo Pākehā. I ngā wā katoa, kua roa tērā, kua toru taupea. I was like, oh, hoi anō. It's just an interesting dynamic, and I've noticed that when we're out in public and I'm speaking to reo, most people are really positive. I haven't had any negative reactions yet. I don't know about you. How about you when you're around and kei te kōrero koutou ko tō whānau e te I haumi?
Yeah, we just don't care. No,
Yeah,
frankly, it's just like
hell,
it's been so long now that we just we're just so that's sort of it's just so normal for us, I guess.
yeah, this is a stupid question. Okay,
Yeah.
ka pai. Ka huri nai nei ki tētahi pea, well, kare kore he whanaunga, ki tō pātai, arapera tapiata.
Yes.
Yes. Who's this person? Can you just, before we get into the question, who's arapera?
Mum, her favorite cousin is who she is. Nah, we're first cousins, me and Arapeta.
I'm getting the aura. The aura. The aura. Te mauri. Hoi anō. Okay. He aha, ko tēnei te pātai nā arapera, tēnā koe arapera. He aha te whāinga mō muri I te haere ki Oxford. He aha te whāinga mō muri I te haere ki Oxford.
Yeah, that's a tough one. A lot of people have asked me that, and I don't have an answer. But I think how I would answer that is that that we don't have to have things planned. I think we're living in a world now where there's a system designed for us where you go to school, go to university, or you go to work, and you have these different steps throughout your life. Like Oxford wasn't in the plans a few years ago, and now it is. So that's how I'd answer that. But what I do know is that whatever plan will be post Oxford will be grounded in service to our people here in Aotearoa Anō. Yeah, koe rā te whakautu.
Woo! You know, he pai, he ātāhua tērā whakautu. Engari, ka whai whakaro au. Ki a koe me opoko whiwhi. And I found this too. I'm interested in your thoughts. That's a big expectation on those shoulders, man. To come back and be of service. Like, how do you stay grounded with that? Like, how do you stay well? Because in this activism biz, in this reclamation biz, people, you know, he upoko pakaru e te and ka whawhai tonu a, ka taka iho. So how do you stay well with that kind of vision in mind? What do you do to stay on and good as you go?
Yeah, one of the inspirations for my dissertation was the generations in our whānau of service, but the cost that came with. So me tīmata pēr ki te māma o taku koro, our tupuna kuia, she died quite young when my koro was still growing up. My koro was in this gig, and he died in his early 50s because he didn't look after his health, but he gave so much to our people. My dad also died while he was quite young in his 50s, and so that inspiration for writing the dissertation and the insights and how well-being is definitely a factor that needs to be talked about more in our people, and I think we're getting better at it for sure as a collective. But yeah, well-being is definitely at the forefront, I think, now for a lot of people as we talk about service, where we think about people like Tapiata Ngata, where we didn't barely had cars. I don't even know if we had cars at the time. Anyway, a lot of stories about him where he had people looking after him when he traveled back to the East Coast, people looking after the garden, the whare. And I think Pākehās might see that as, oh, that's just working for somebody. But I think as Māori, that mai anō te rā tikanga, where you're helping someone, but you're also helping, that's therefore helping the collective. And so that mindset, I think that's still definitely ingrained in our people. But yeah, how we talk about and think about well-being today.
Tika tonu e hoa, i te whakaaro au mō koutou o tira, tēnei te rau aroha, kia koutou I te rirohanga o tō pāpā, Aotearoa o whanaunga o Karaua kuia. Thank you for saying that, and I just want to acknowledge those of us who've lost people. You know, it's part of the deal, and yeah, I didn't realise that, so I just want to acknowledge you and your whānau e hoa. And I'm reminded as you were talking of a close family friend of mine in Raukawa, near Otaki, where we were at her marae, and she was just recovering from cancer, actually. She's quite a bit older than me, and I was sitting with her daughter, who's my age, in the wharekai, and she was working so hard in the back, and I was like, look at your mum, man, she needs to slow down for her health. And she looked at me and he goes, this is her health. Like, she gets, this gives her health. Like, service, she gets out of, she's, you know, aua Pākehā tērā whakaaro, oh, kaue, kaue haere ki reira, you know, ki te, you know, ka whakapauka, you know, it's quite it's an interesting take, and so I just want to acknowledge that, like, service is also he tau utu kei te haere pia. Yeah. And I also was just thinking when you were talking, Naianga, about more tiatia as a way of staying well too, you know, which you talked about earlier. So your writing, your composition, your sharing, your listening, your work with others, your rangahau, not just rangahau, but living it and reciting those are a source of oranga. And if you look in Western research, I mean, I'm not a OG about this, but you know, like singing collectively has been shown, surprise, surprise, to raise your dopamine levels, you know, and to have connection with people. Now, yeah, so I think there's something in that too that is a beautiful, beautiful thing here. We do have another pātai. Or did you have anything to say about my rambling?
Yeah, just a quick one. Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
kapai.
ka tautoko I rā kōrero, I nā kōrero. And I love the kōrero from one of my mates, Hana Mai Clark, where she said, ka ora tonu, tātou ake, instead of saying, ka mate engari, ka mate ka ora. So that kōrero and just a small change, and how that would shift our mindset as a people.
When she came out with that, I heard that at the Whikoi in 2024. That's when I first saw it. I was like, what a beautiful framing, yo. Yeah, and you had to drop, she's just one of your mates. Oh, get out of here. Yeah, that's good. That's good. She should be on the session. Okay, let's jump to a couple of questions. We have approximately 13 minutes before we cut off, if we're thinking about Western Gregorian timeframes. Your cousin has asked you, Arapira that is, can you write me a mōtiatia, please?
No, nah. Next question.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Arapira. We have to move on. I'll let you guys do that in your chats. Nguyen Ha. Hi, Nguyen. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Do you think learning te reo Māori and about te ao Māori is an obligation, a responsibility? Perhaps, there's a couple of questions here. I'll start again. Do you think learning te reo Māori and about te ao Māori is an obligation, a responsibility, perhaps an utu?
I definitely think it's it depends, I think, on the context and who you are. But I think that's a hard one.
I'll just finish, actually. So there are two questions, but it's actually connected. So that was my bad. Do you think learning te reo Māori and about te ao Māori is an obligation, a responsibility, perhaps an utu that we all should carry if we are here in Aotearoa to live, no matter who we are, migrant, local, native, refugee? Should we all do it just because we're living here? What do you reckon?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. My mama, pēnei a koe, she's Pākehā, but she learned te reo Māori. This was in the 80s when te reo wasn't our big thing. Wasn't a trend, people weren't getting paid fairly.
No.
So yeah, 100%. And I think it should be te reo Māori, tikanga, te ao Māori as a whole should be part of educating people that come here to Aotearoa to live, whether it's treaty training, some sort of structure, because of our history. Yeah, and simple, I think, yeah.
Kia ora. Thank you. Thank you for the question. We're going to move to another one now. And this one is from Ateliana Amoto. I hope I'm getting that right. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. Kia ora. Naianga, with your journey from Aotearoa, Kuwait to abroad, what are some ways of well-being you've picked up along the way?
One of the biggest, and I think it was an argument that I also made in my dissertation, was that relationships sit at the framing of well-being, not just well-being but life, whether it's relationship with yourself, relationship with your community, relationship with the environment. Relationship, I think, is what grounds a lot of well-being factors, in a way that you can explore the tangible ways of how well-being looks like. So for example, relationships with my mates, what does that look like? Looks like we're going to play golf, sometimes, to focus on golf, and how that in itself, where we're just focused on being outside, playing golf, decreasing our stress levels, if we're angry at someone, we're just having a hurt, that sort of whakaro anyway, is an example of how that looks like. But yeah, golf has been a habit that I've picked up over the last few months.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, you're getting all those things, right? You're walking, you're in the environment. It is rather bare, I will say. There's not a big ecosystem out there though. But you're with your metes, you're doing your
Yeah.
things. In fact, after this, you mentioned something earlier. I'm going to go for a walk. Can we just have a break here, Wama, after this? Go for a walk. Get outside if you can. Rain, shine, whatever. Put your feet on the ground.
Just a quick plug, bro, while we're talking about it.
Yeah,
Morning
plug it.
walk is one of the healthiest things you can do for your well-being. Morning walks, morning movement in any form will help you. You definitely feel it after you've had a nice shower afterwards. You just feel ready to conquer the day, in my opinion.
Ah, you heard it here first. You're getting some free health advice. Ah, okay, here's another question. Oh, Mariana Morrison, all these te was up in here. Mm. There is another question here. I'm just sorry. How do you educate others about your lived experiences? Okay, you might. I think you've kind of answered this, but this is from someone, Shannon Hona. Sorry. Oh, how do you educate others about your lived experiences? And thank you for sharing.
Hmm. Yeah, I think um that's a hard one. I'm only 21. But yeah, I think a lot of people, like myself included, obviously things that I share on here, I've discussed with my whānau, or I've seen others share about it through my whānau, and we've become okay with sharing to the wider public certain things. Obviously, there's still things that we won't share for various reasons. But yeah, lived experience is probably, in my opinion, one of the biggest things that can help a lot of people. Experiences will forever be our greatest teachers as we walk through life. As you look across the arc of history, experiences of various people and how that shaped their own life, their decision making, why they did certain things, why they didn't do certain things. Yeah, and so I think experiences and how we share that across the world will be important.
What I really like too, what you're kind of emphasizing is, even though you haven't said it, is I don't know if you've seen this thing. I don't know if you know what that is. I don't know anybody, but you know, that really, it's got some uses, but that can really get in the way of being in yourself and experiencing. You're getting an experience, but it's a curated, algorithmic experience that isn't. It's real to some degree, but it's not like, yo, let's
Yeah.
connect, right? So these reminders that you're giving us are really, really useful for our times. Ewa, thank you so much. We have approximately 6 minutes left. Um, I had a question and it's gone, but I'll just do the classic. What are you hoping? Like, what's next for you? Oh no, this is the question. And then what are you hoping? The question is, who are you feeling right now? Like, who are the artists? Who are the people that you're like, yeah, alive, passed on, either or. But who are the people you're like, yo, I'm vibing. The aura is good.
Yeah, that's a hard question, man. I think it changes every day, every hour. Yeah, oh man. Yeah, that's a tough one for sure. As we as we walk through this game of life, and how yeah, that's a tough one, man.
Well,
Um,
you've already mentioned a couple. I mean, you mentioned Te Ariki Nui. You mentioned Hana, so that's good. That's a good start. You mentioned your whānau. You mentioned a lot of ladies. Let's be truthful. The women
yeah.
do the work for real. Um, yeah, but anyone else that's like, okay, at risk of, just off the top, man. Like,
Yeah, I'd say Tariki Nui, as yeah, I went to the Pokai at Turangawawa last week. And yeah, as I sit here at the University of Waikato, where the land itself is under the
yes,
mantle of Waikato Tainui, under the
yes.
name of Kingi Pōtatau, the first Māori king. And I think this is how I'd answer that actually. I would answer that and say the fresh leadership that is in national and both local and regional leadership throughout the country. As I think about Te Ariki Nui being a new Māori queen, as I think about the new tumuaki in Te Hahi Rātana, a new tumuaki
Mm,
um, of the kingitanga, and a new ariki of Tuwhareto. And so I think now is the time because everyone is so fresh, not just in those positions, but as you look across the country in Māori leadership and how people that are fresh into spaces where they haven't experienced a whole heap of experiences in those positions itself,
mm.
where they are still exploring what it means for them, who they trust, who they don't trust, their own circles, but how we as a collective help to serve them, therefore serving those kaupapa.
Beautiful. You heard it. Thank you so much. Yeah, he aiki e te he ngaru nui kei te haere mai. Wa kua tai mai pia. Kua tai mai. Te ngaru nui o te rangatahi. Pau pau nei te one one. Nā reira, e mihi ana ki a koe. E te hoa. O tira koutou, te whānau tapiata, me e rā atu o ngā hononga. Pākia nei. Tauiwi nei I kei wainga I a koutou. It's been lovely having you here, e hoa. And, today is the rangatahi day, the rangatahis. And I'm just a stand-in. No, I'm not. I was here for it with this, but I'm standing in for later. I just want to give a few plugs. 11:30, picking up on what Naianga was just saying, this new fresh leadership. 11:30 to 12:30, stay at lock, keep it locked. It's like we're an FM radio station. Te kāhui pōkere ki COP30. Te kāhui pōkere ki COP30, United Nations Climate Change. That's with Tāne Aruka and Shannon Mihaere. Give it up for them. They are on at 11:30. Who else is after that? Oh man, I can't double multitask on this thing. But it's going to be good. I know there's sessions throughout the day, my friends. So please check them out. This will be going up on the YouTubes. There's transcripts available. Thank you all for your people lighting up the webinar chat. I don't know if you've checked that out there, Naianga. It's all on, man. Nah, you're just like, I want to get out and play some golf. Fair enough. Yes, people are loving it, Airway, and so it's a privilege for us to have hosted you. Thank you for sharing your insights and your time with us. Nā reira, e hoa mā, e mihi kawana kia koutou. Go well today, everybody. Keep it locked in and stay well. I think we're gone. Anything you want to say to finish off?
Have a good day, everybody.
There you go. Have a good day. It's not that hard. Yeah. Ka pai. Go well, everybody. Peace.